What does migtow, same-sex, transgender dysphoria, and Planned Parenthood have in common? Well, it fits into the idea of population control. Have bought into the whole philosophy of population control. So one thing a lot of people could consider when they're deciding, oh, you know what, I think the opposite sex is not the way to go, so I'm going to try the same sex. But what is my reasoning for this? Well, there's too many people on the earth. So that's what they buy into with this climate change. I don't think that there's a group of people, well, there are a group of people, let's say me, but I don't think they can control the will of the people. I think the people allow themselves to be controlled. They buy into philosophy of communism. Now, one thing the communists like is a well-controlled, less populated area. A good example is communist China. That's the reason why they have 2 family homes now. Now you gotta imagine, this is the same people that only wanted 1 child per family. So what happened is they had less population and they realized that they need to build their military, so they raised it up to 2 because they realized the whole overpopulation myth is a myth, is what it is. You can fit majority of the people in the world in Texas, the size of Texas. And there's so many areas that if we worked on the area, like for instance, like Israel, people thought nothing would grow there, but they worked on it and worked on it and they worked on it and it became a paradise. And this is the same thing with any area. There's so much area. If you rode Route 66 all the way to California, you'd see barren land. If you ride a lot of these highways, if you drive from my area up to Chicago, it's complete wasteland. I mean, you might not even see people if you drove from Chicago, from my area, through a certain route, you know, not going through the highway area, but through scenic route. You'll see places where you're thinking, there could be a house there could be a house there. So overpopulation is a myth. All you have to do is get out in the world and see for yourself. That's the reason why you see a lot of countries taking refugees, not because they're passionate, is because their population is very small. And they need to repopulate to have a country. Japan is one of those who got in trouble. They have started a program which give money to women around the world to come to Japan so they can repopulate Japan. China, like I said, realized they were having a population problem, so they started a 2-child program. So when I see migtow and the same-sex rise and all these things like that, I think about people have bought into the myth that we are overpopulated. Now, people say, now morally, what's the problem with this attitude? Well, the problem with this attitude is you have a dying culture. If our culture here in America believes that we are overpopulated, we will believe that we need to cut the population out. And what goes along with that population is our culture, is what makes us great. America is one of the freest land that you can think about. If America is such a bad place, why are people dying to come over here? If America was such a bad place, people would be trying to rush out of America. But through population control, if we can convince the people through same-sex, or we can convince the people through transgender dysphoria and migtow and feminism and lesbianism, if we can convince these people that we can go these religious routes, which what all these things are, just little cults off to the side to worship themselves or worship lust or whatever they want to worship, because all addiction is another word for idolatry. These people will become less populated, and at the same time we destroy the culture that made America great. It's like if you got these people that are migtow and they realize that America is a good country, but they don't want to preserve it. The best way to preserve America is to populate America and to teach the children the importance of being Americans. This is what God wanted intentionally but man becomes too stubborn. Man has a will that needs to be broken. And I think sometimes when he was talking to Israel, he's talking to the regular guy and saying, you know, I picked you not because you were great. I picked you because you were stubborn. You know, that's what he told Israel basically. And I think that reflects in all of us. We are stubborn people. We think we got to go our own way. But the Bible says be fruitful and multiply, because God realized the importance of replenishing. You know, if you want to keep good going, you replenish and fruitful and be multiply, and you teach the young good. If you teach the young good, your own should be your own responsibility. The other people's children are not your responsibility. And I think it's sad, you know, I see liberals going that way, because their movement will die because they are trying to keep the population down. The thing is about with conservatives, we are encouraging women to have children. And what happens when you reach to a liberal woman to become a conservative to keep her child, she teaches her child to be conservative. MGTOW will not survive, just like the Shakers movement won't survive. Asexual cult will not survive. These cults will not survive because the fact is they will not repopulate the earth. I see MGTOW as a trolls. I see them as people who think, well, I got a better idea. If women are going to be that way, we're going to be this way. No, you're not women, okay? Women do things because they are different from men. Let me try to explain something. See, women different from men. So you have to think that a lot of responsibility that you take as a man, you have to man up to. That's what part of being a man up to something. A woman who does not accept responsibility because she doesn't need responsibility, because she is not the head of the household. The man is the representative. I mean, you look at when a woman gets hit, men everywhere will come to her rescue because she does not have to be expected to have the responsibility of a man. And I see men going their way as just a bunch of trolls that won't grow up. They're just a bunch of people who don't realize that the best way is the system that was already founded years ago, be fruitful and multiply. And one thing is, if you want a woman to like you, MGTOW, you need to start acting like a man. You know, it's like a lot of people say, why would a black woman like a white racist? Well, I'll tell you why a black woman would like a white racist. Because that white racist doesn't act like a pansy. He doesn't act like a little sissy. It's the same way any woman follows men. That's simple as that. If you act like a man, she'll follow you. If you're going to sit there and be desperate and want sex from them all the time and demand it and you're like, please give me sex with it, she don't want that. She don't want desperation. Women smell desperation, they're gone. They're out here. You have to be strong as a man. You have to be a leader, and you're going to see a woman come to you. A woman will be attracted to you because they want a leader. They want a stronger man, and that's something that has to be. You have to make that choice. So that's my take on that gay stuff. You guys have a great day.